What should your body look like in order to do a one arm pull up? Let's talk about that in today's episode of One Arm Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in. If you do enjoy this video, please remember to hit that like button and to subscribe to the channel for future videos. Today, we're going to talk about body composition and what the ideal body should likely look like in order to do one arm pull ups. Note that there are definitely going to be a bunch of different body types that can do a one arm pull up, but we want to talk about ideas on how we can improve our bodies physically in order to make the one arm pull up easier to keep our goals on track and progressing forward. So, the reason I was making this video today was really because I'm dealing with an injury to my right elbow joint. And I feel like a lot of that might have to do with my body composition shifting away from what historically has been. I feel like I've just been adding on unnecessary body fat. And because of that, that's additional weight that I've had to lift with my joints, whether it's weighted pull ups or one arm pull up work. And because of that, I feel like the additional stress is something I didn't account for and potentially could have overloaded the joint a bit more than I intended to. So let's talk a bit about what I think of when it comes to body composition. First, I think it's important to briefly talk about things that we can't necessarily change. We're all born with those genetics that may or may not be, inclined to being able to get a one-arm pull-up. There's those people out there that are just genetic freaks that can go and do any athletic feat really easily, and some of us have a bit more of a challenge. So just note that there are going to be things that you can't change, and that's okay. Some things too, like having shorter arms to make the pulling distance a bit shorter, that's going to be critical. Maybe being a bit shorter, making that the total body weight that you can have on your body would be different. So there's a few of those factors you can think of that we can't change, and that's okay. Just stick to what the genetics you have and work on improving as best as you can your current body. Now, when it comes to things that we can change, I think the biggest ones are obviously going to be our muscle mass and our body weight and body fat. So, to start with body weight and body fat, I think a lot of this just comes down to if you're going to be lighter and you're going to have less fat on your body, it is going to make the one arm pull up significantly easier because you're basically dealing with a weight vest being strapped around you. And I think a lot of us having that extra weight cut off is it feels like the shackles have been released and you're able to go and fully go through a movement. So being able to find that healthy body fat and body weight percentages for yourself is going to be pretty critical. For me, when I was testing this out for my height, I'm roughly 5'9". I found that around 150-ish pounds tends to be the kind of the golden area, and that's usually fasted in the morning. So it might fluctuate up to 155 pounds. But I've been noticing recently as that weight has started to go upwards, where now in the morning fasted it's about 155. So adding 5 pounds or about 2 to 3 kilos of weight, it's definitely becoming a bit more of a challenge. And then who knows how much more that could be ballooning to during the day when I've had more food and more water. So um, definitely want to keep in mind kind of how your body weight fluctuates and what feels the most comfortable to yourself. I think in general, if you're aiming between the 10% to 15% body fat, that is going to be a pretty good indicator of a optimal way to keep your weight and body fat percentages. You could go a bit lower, but at that point, you're risking the negative downsides of having too little fat on your body, and that would be more on the cognitive side. You might be a bit more hangry. So I think 10 to 15 is a bit more manageable. If you want to push a little bit below that, definitely do so, but keep it monitored if any of the negative side effects do happen. Now, being skinny is definitely a good thing, but also keep in mind that you're going to need enough muscle to actually be able to go and do the rep. I was much skinnier growing up. I was 120 pounds ish, but I couldn't get anywhere close to doing a one arm pull up. But I noticed that as I added on more muscle mass, even though I put on 30 pounds, it definitely felt easier because I had a more stable, stronger base that I could pull from. So being able to add that lean body mass onto my body that actually translates toward pulling movements is pretty critical. Yes, you could go add 30 pounds of muscle onto your body, but if it's all in your calves, then you're going to be weighing yourself down. So you want to be kind of strategic about where you're adding on muscle to your body. Yes, if you go completely top heavy, it's going to be a lot easier to do the pull ups, but then that's going to sacrifice other health benefits. So in general, I would probably recommend just adding muscle to your body all over through a balanced fitness program and then slowly progressing your one arm pull up forward. You might not get it as quick as someone that only does pull day every day, but in general, you will be able to kind of have a healthier, long lasting, and fully fleshed out fitness program from that. So for me personally, I found that being roughly around that 150 pounds fasted with a 10 to 15-ish percentage body fat, usually trying to get lower, closer to the 10%, maybe even 10 to 12-ish range. That's going to be my sweet spot, especially because I tend to have more dominated pull days. And that's the main focus, and that's where I tend to have the most muscle on my body. So that's probably the best range that I want to stay at. If I ever tweak my program and go more leg heavy or go more push heavy, where it might go away from the back, then I might consider changing up my weight and body fat percentages to accommodate for the loss there. But because I've already achieved my one arm pull up, it definitely doesn't need as much additional thought, because it's a lot easier to pick up something that you lost as opposed to learning it for the first time. So those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about the ideal body composition, or just in general areas you think you need to work on when it comes to progressing towards the one arm pull up. Is it just training focused, or do you need to get your diet in track? Let me know below. Make sure to like the video if you did enjoy this, and to subscribe to the channel. Have a good one, everyone. Let's go get that one arm pull up.